Hey there, Chadi Bazzi here, and welcome to another episode of the Top Listing Agent Show. Today might be a little bit more on the lengthy side of an episode, and the reason being is we're recording this on June 30th, so we're really hitting the mark of the end of the first half of the year. So we got about 6 months more to go before 2020 is all over again. And talking about 2020, what an interesting year it's been thus far. You know, with the quarantine, with the lockdown, the pandemic, the riots, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, with all the uncertainties. And it kind of makes this episode a little bit more interesting to have. And the reason being is what I've discovered over the course of the last 90 days or so, a lot about myself and a lot about the people I'm working with and a lot about the people in our industry and even beyond. But I just kept the focus a little bit more on me, the people I'm working with, and the people within my industry. And I think the biggest takeaway is that it kind of revealed who we really are, because you never know how strong you are or how weak you are or what it is that you're really capable of until you're really tested. And I think, with all the things that happened over the course of the last 90 to 120 days have really been the greatest test for the majority of us. For some of us, it totally revealed that all the work that we've been doing on ourselves, it was well worth it, and it equipped us with the tools, the strategies, the mindset, the habits, the work ethic, and everything else. And we came out okay. As a matter of fact, some of us were able to even thrive. And then for the majority of the people, it totally revealed how unprepared they are for a time of uncertainty, for a time that they wish they could go back in time and redo life all over again in a way to where they adopt a little bit more discipline. They take on, bigger and better and bolder habits that equip them with what it takes to be able to survive any kind of marketplace or any kind of pandemic or any kind of whatever life throws at them. And even within the people who have been doing a lot of training for a lot of time, I can't say for a fact that every single person was able to deal with what we had to deal with on their own. And another thing that totally showed up is, who is your circle? Who is your support group? Who are the people that will, remind you of how powerful you are and how just remind you of, what things you need to adapt to and what things you need to do differently in order for you to get through what we had to go through. And some people are still going through it. And some people have totally forgotten about it because they're too focused on, building the life of their dreams day in and day out. So I get that everything that we had to deal with, and I don't want today's episode to be a punishment or anything like that. I wanted to serve more as a form of inspiration, as a form of reminder on how you can get through it no matter what, and a reminder on how you could better equip yourself for a better future, and a reminder on how it's okay to sometimes reveal your vulnerable side, to reveal your areas of weakness, because you then become aware of all the adjustments and the detours that you must make in order for you to lead a better, more profitable and more abundant and joyful life in the days to come, in the years to come, not only for yourself, but also for your loved ones that depend on you emotionally, financially, and physically, etc. So with that said, what I want to do is I want to begin by simply just diving into more of like a very detailed business review for over the course of the last 6 months, because the more clear you are on what's happening in your business, the more clear you will be on the adjustments that you need to make. And I'm going to help you make those adjustments. And towards the end of this episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a 4-step process that I want you to follow through that will help you reach your goals for this year, regardless of where you're at year to date. And I know that 90 days ago, a lot of people, including myself, said to you, hey, screw your 2020 plan. Let's go ahead and make an adjustment and create a new 90-day plan. Hopefully you were one of the very few people that took on that advice and, redesigned your business plan and only focused on a 90-day plan. Because I'll tell you right now, I mean, there's 2 people that really stick in my mind right now that I'm working with that did that. Like, they took it to heart and they make the adjustments and they forgot about the rest of the year and only focused on 90 days. And the results that they have created are beyond phenomenal, and I'll share some of those numbers with you in a little bit. So let's go ahead and review 2020 for you so far. So let's begin by answering the question. When you first came into 2020, you obviously came in with an income goal. Remember last December, you were excited about the new year and you promised yourself you're going to do a bunch of things, and maybe you didn't, who cares right now, but you came into the year excited about a brand new income goal. So if you're listening to this and or watching this video in a place to where you're not driving and or working out or doing something, I'd want you to actually write down the answers to these questions, because the next 6 months really depend on the answers to the questions that I'm going to be asking you today. So I would take this very seriously, because this one episode alone could be the turning point for you to take you from wherever you're at right now year to date to where you want to end up 6 months from now, regardless of what is happening in the economy and the world. And I know that some of you guys may want like a PDF file, a worksheet of this episode. And I will make one available for you to go and download. Let's just see where we are going to link it to. Which one of my domains should I link it to? I probably should link it to, let's say, just go to shadibazzi.info. Shadibazzi.info, not shadibazzi.com. Just go to shadibazzi.info and you would be able to download the file from shadibazzi.info. Okay, so I will put the worksheet over there. You can go there, and you'd be able to download it and you'd be able to fill in the blanks and all that good stuff. So let's begin by, answering the question, what is your income goal for 2020? What was that number? Write it down. Regardless of whether you're on track or not, it doesn't matter. Don't even think about that right now. Just write down what was your income goal for 2020. Now, whatever your income goal was, it was also or should have been accompanied by a transaction goal. Like, you should have already done the math work in terms of like, how many homes do I need to sell and close in order for me to earn that kind of money? So write down the transaction goal. And after you do that, what I want you to do is, tally up the number of homes that you've actually sold year to date. How many homes have you closed so far in the last 6 months? So that's the third number that we need to play this game. And the fourth number that we need is, how much income have you made so far this year? So these are the 4 numbers that we need so far. Income goal for 2020, transaction goal for 2020, how many transactions have we closed, and how much income have we generated. Now, after you do that, what I want you to do is I want you to run a little bit of a mathematical formula to just try to find out, what percentage of the income goal have we reached, and what percentage of the transaction goal have we reached, and what has your average commission check been so far year to date. Many times, halfway through the year, we're able to get a much more accurate average commission check versus what we began with at the beginning of the year, and that will reflect a completely different number that you will need in order for you to reach your income goal, for the year. So let's find out if you are a little bit behind, a little bit on track, or a little bit ahead of your goal. And then here's one of the 3 categories that you're gonna fall into. You're either gonna fall into the category of like, I'm ahead of my goal, okay? Or you're gonna fall into the category of I'm on track to reach my goal, or you're gonna fall into the category of I am not on track to reach the goal. And I really got something to say about that. And the thing that I want to say about it is, it doesn't matter which of these 3 categories you're at right now. What matters most is that you become aware of exactly where you are right now and make whatever adjustments you have to make in order for you to either maintain your business, continue to expand your business, or simply just reach the goal you originally set for yourself. See, in my 20 plus years of doing this and having worked with thousands of real estate agents from all over the country, I've worked with people who at this time of the year were ahead of the goal. Like they were definitely more than on track to reach the goal. And by the time the year came to end, they did not reach the goal. I've worked with people who at this time of the year were not on track to reach their goal and were still able to make adjustments and reach the goal. And I've worked with people who at this time of the year were not were on track to even blow up their business and take it to the next level and still didn't reach the goal, etc. So look, it doesn't matter where you're at right now. What matters more is that you're aware of you're more aware of where you're at versus where you need to be to make the final adjustments. Okay, so let's go a little bit deeper. In order for us to plan the second half of the year, let's go a little bit deeper on exactly what happened this year. How many of your transactions, whatever amount of transactions you've closed so far, how many of those transactions were sellers sold? Okay, so let's write that number down. How many listings sold? And then how many were buyer sales? So for example, you've done 10 sales for the year. How many of those were buyers and how many of those were sellers? Okay. And then we're going to take that category a little bit further because we see, by the way, this is where most people do not go deep enough. And that's why they don't have, the clear indicators as to, what buttons they need to press and what things they need to do differently to take their business to the next level. What I want to know is, where did your sellers come from? Hey, if you've closed 5 listings so far year to date, how many of those came from past clients? How many of those were from your center of influence? How many of those were a referral? How many might have been for sale by owners or expires, just listed, just sold, from your farm, from an open house, from a direct mail piece, from internet marketing, etc. We want to know specifically where are these listings coming from. And then what we want to know as well is where are your buyer deals coming from. Now, the reason that we want to find out where these deals came from is because we want to be able to put our finger on what systems are working and what systems are not working. Did you follow step-by-step system for every single one of the lead sources that you've just identified for where your sellers came from and for where your buyers came from? Do you have a specific step-by-step system for every single one of those categories? If yes, good for you. Now, if the answer is yes, what I want you to do is I want you to think, is there anything else that you could have done differently in the last 6 months to have gotten a little bit more from every single one of those lead systems? And if no, you did not have a system and the deals just fell in your lap, etc. kind of thing, then what are the things that you did not do that if you actually did? Like, think about it. What are some of the things that I did not do over the course of the last 6 months that if I actually did them, I would have generated more business? Really think about that one. Really, really wreck your mind thinking about what are the things that I could have done, what are the things that I should have done that I did not do, that if I actually did, I would have gotten more business from it. And then try to come up with how much more business you could have gotten if you had done the work. And then multiply that by your average commission check that we came up with a little bit ago. And that's exactly how much money you are losing by not implementing what you already know you should be implemented. This should be a big wake-up call for a lot of you. And I think more people are going to fall into that category of no, I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So let's take it a little step further and think this way. What got in the way of me doing the work? What stopped me from doing the work? And then once you identify what really got in the way, and don't give me the COVID-19 thing, don't give me the pandemic thing, don't give me the riot thing, don't give me none of this stuff that's totally beyond your control. I get that we were all affected by it to a certain degree. Different states, different cities had to deal with things differently, virtual showings and new way of doing business, the new norm and all that good stuff. I get it. I'm talking about the things that were within your control. Okay, once you identify what got in the way, I want you to really ask yourself the question is, why did I allow it to get in the way? Like literally, why did you allow it to get in the way when you knew it was not in your best interest? It's not in the best interest of the people who rely on you financially, emotionally, and physically. Why did you allow it to get in the way? And then once you identify that, I want you to wreck your mind again and think about, how do I make sure it does not get in the way in the next 6 months? How do I make sure this never ever gets in the way again? Because just in the last 6 months, I lost 1 deal, 2 deals, 5 deals, $50,000, $100,000. I lost a lot of money. I gained a lot more stress as a result of it, more financial hardship, more debt, etc. Do not let it get in the way again. And the best way to make sure it doesn't get in the way is to figure out how to make sure in advance what is the solution to making sure it doesn't get in the way. And I know I'm going a little bit deep in this conversation because it really is that important. And I want you to take it that seriously and, treat it as if your business totally relies on the answers to these questions. Now, up to this point, based on everything that we've discussed so far over the course of the last 5 minutes, it'd be easy for me to say, now you know what you did that worked, and now you know what you should have done that you did not do, and this is the part of your list to do the beginning of the next half of the year. So now you should have a to-do list for the next 6 months. So if I could say it a little bit differently, what you've done all the way up to this point is you've taken what we call personal responsibility. So let's go over some of the reasons why I personally believe, based on my 20 plus year experience in this industry, why people do not reach their goal and what you can do about it. And there's multiple reasons, but I boiled it down to what I believe are the top 3 reasons why most people do not reach their goals. And the number one, it just boils down to they don't want it bad enough. They don't want it bad enough. Look, you've heard the saying before. You've heard the quotes. You've seen it all over the internet. You've heard it from a multitude amount of people. If you want something bad enough, you'll find a way. And if you don't, you'll find an excuse. And most people are living a life full of excuses. They create this illusion that they are really trying. And when in reality, when they dive deep down the way that we are doing in this episode right now, they know they are not even scratching the surface. And they just don't want it bad enough. Now, number 2 is they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. I get you. There's a lot of people out there that legitimately do not know what they need to do to generate, more listings. They don't know what to do to, generate more buyers. I get it. That's exactly why you need to take personal responsibility and go seek out the answers. You can seek out the answers from people like me. You can seek out the answers from, other people like me in this industry that train people on how to do this. You can seek the answers from your colleagues, from your broker, from your manager, from, people that you are virtually friends with online, etc. I mean, you can seek out the answers from Google, etc. Again, personal responsibility. If there's something that you don't know how to do, but you want it bad enough, you'll figure it out because the answers are all there. So number 2 is they don't know what to do. Number 3, I think number 3 is a critically one of the more important ones, and a lot of people lack it, specifically in this industry, is they lack the skills. They lack the skills. I talk to people all the time that they say they have a ton of leads, and then you ask them how many transactions are you closing, and it's a very few transactions, and it kind of doesn't make sense because how could you have so many leads and close so many few deals? It's because you're lacking the skills to convert the leads. So you fall into one of those 3 categories. Number 1, either you don't want it bad enough, or number 2, you don't know what to do, or number 3, you lack the skills, which we can solve all 3 of them. So what is the solution? The solution, I'll give you a 5-step solution for that one. Number 1. So the solution to taking your business to the next level in the second half of the year is to simply, number 1, know what you want. Get clear specifically on what it is that you want. Number 2, get super clear on exactly why you want it. Number 3, know what you need to do each and every single day in order for you to get it. Number 4, learn how to do it. And number 5, just freaking damn do the work. Guys, it's that simple. It really is that simple. This is what I want. This is why I want it. This is what I got to do every single day in order for me to get it. This is what I need to learn to do it more effectively and more efficiently and guarantee the result. And I just got to show up every single day and do the work. Easier said than done, right? Easier said than done is something I want you to forget about. Because it's also easier done than said. You and I both know people that don't talk about what they're going to do, and their work talks about what they did. Be that person. All right. So what we've done thus far is we talked about the first half of the year. Now, I'll tell you this much: earlier when I was talking about people that take responsibility and do the work and didn't buy into whatever was happening in the world, two people really came to mind, and one of them is a client of mine by the name of Dennis. And Dennis is only 3 years in the real estate business and has a goal to earn $500,000 this year. And in spite of anything and everything that is going on in the world as of today, June 30th, which marks the last day of the first half of the year, he's at $250,000. Coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, pandemic, riots, this, that, whatever, homeboy showed up every single day and did the work no matter what, and he's on track to earn $500,000 in his third year in real estate. What's your excuse? What's your excuse? Now, when I hear stories like that, I will never ever buy into an excuse again, because if he can do it, so can you. Now, I don't say this to impress you. I say this to express to you that you can do it all, you can be it all, and you can have it all. We just got to go back to point number one that I talked about a little bit ago in regards to the solution. You got to know what you want. And then point number two, you got to know why you want it. And then point number three, you have to identify what you got to do every day to get it. And point number four, you got to learn a few new things to do it better. And number five, you just got to show up and do the work. Now, I have another woman whose income goal for the year was only to earn about $100,000 this year. Single mom of 2 children. And her goal was to earn $100,000 for the year. And I remember it was like around March 19th, March 20th, when this whole entire COVID-19 thing came about. She was only about $10,000 earning for the year. So think of it, her first quarter, she's only made $10,000, which puts her on track to earn about $40,000 for the year. But when everything began to happen, guess what happened to her mentally? Mentally, she checked out. She went in panic mode. She went in fear mode. And she started to think about, how am I going to feed my children? How am I going to make this work? How am I going to survive? How am I going to pay the bills? And all that crazy stuff. So all we did was have a nice, calming conversation where I said, you got to stay hopeful, you got to stay positive, and you got to adapt, and you got to re-strategize. And I'm happy to tell you that in the last 90 days, during the coronavirus pandemic, riots, and all that crazy stuff that's happening in the world, she made what she wanted to do all year. Remember, her goal was to earn $100,000 all year. She was only at $10,000 at the end of the first quarter, and in the last 90 days, she made over $100,000. Remember what we said? This whole entire pandemic thing totally revealed who you really are. And what was revealed about her is that under pressure, diamonds are made. Be the next diamond. Let's keep going. Let's talk about 2020 now. By the way, if you want this PDF, if you want the PDF to fill in the blanks for everything that we've done, in the last 20 minutes or so, and in the next 15 to 20 minutes, go to shadibazzi.info and download it for free. And that will be totally like your little mini business plan and your guiding system for the next 6 months. So you too can, rise above and, reach, if not even exceed your goal, regardless of where you're at right now. So let's talk about 2020. And I'm going to go a little bit quicker right now. What I want you to do is, just write down the question of what do I want to accomplish in the second half of 2020? What do I want to accomplish in the second half of 2020? Number one, I want to know how much money you want to make. Number two, I want to know how many deals you got to close in order for you to make that happen. Number three, how many of those deals are going to come from, how many listings are you going to take in the next 6 months? How many listings will you sell in the next 6 months? How many buyers will you sell in the next 6 months? And then, pull out your calendar and take a look at all the holidays and time off and vacations that you got planned for the next 6 months. And I want to know specifically how many more days are you going to work in the next 6 months? And then how many hours are you going to prospect in the next 6 months? And how many new contacts are you going to do for lead generation in the next 6 months? I want you to identify these numbers as you plan out the next 6 months. And then once you write down all these numbers, I want you to write down this question, and I really want you to wreck your mind around coming up with, the best answer that you can come up with. And the question is, what will accomplishing this goal do for me, my family, my loved ones, and my community? What will accomplishing this goal ultimately do for me, my family, my loved ones, and my community? Like, reaching that goal, what would you be able to do? Would you be able to eliminate your debt? Would you be able to update the kitchen, update the home, maybe upgrade the home, upgrade the car, upgrade the wardrobe, take that vacation, save a little bit of money, be able to contribute more to the people in your community? I don't know, generate more experiences for you and your loved ones? What's important to you? What will accomplishing this goal ultimately do for you? Remember, knowing what you want. So that's step number one, really, is we've identified the numbers. So now we know what you want. Now, this question right here is tapping into the why do you want to reach that goal? So what will accomplishing this goal ultimately do for you? And then the next question I want you to write down is this: what do I need to learn and or improve so I can reach the goal? What do I need to learn and or improve so I can reach the goal? Do you need to learn how to, generate leads? Do you need to learn how to convert the leads? Do you need to learn how to speak to for sale by owners, how to overcome objections, how to speak to expireds? Do you need to learn how to do a listing presentation? Do you need to learn how to do better lead follow-up? Do you need to learn how to pre-qualify? Do you need to learn how to create better connections? Do you need to learn how to build more relationships? What do you need to learn and or improve in order for you to reach that goal? Like, that should become a to-do list of certain things that you're going to commit a specific amount of hours to every single week to learn and upgrade so you can make the next 6 months your better 6 month of the year. The next question is, what do I have to do each day to reach this goal? Like, what is your list of non-negotiable items that you're going to do every single day, no matter what? No ands, no ifs, no buts. What's it going to be for you? I'll tell you what it is for me and what it is for the majority of the people that I work with. And I'll tell you, it's not lead generation and it's not lead follow-up and it's not really anything that has to do with the business. And but we still do the work that needs to get done. We still work on our lead generation, all this stuff. But the most important thing is priming our mind and priming our body, equipping our mind and equipping our body with the energy it takes in order for us to show up at our best every single moment that we are operating in the business. As I've said to you before, the key to success has nothing to do with what you do. The key to success has everything to do with how you feel while you are in the doing of it. So what is it that you are doing each and every single day to upgrade your real operating system so you could be a little bit more clever in your approach in speaking with people, to be a little bit more alert to the conversations and opportunities that are taking place around you, to become a little bit more quicker in the way that you respond to anything that life throws at you, whether that is a hardship and or an opportunity, so you could be the solution for anything and everything all the time. What is it that you are going to do every single day, no matter what, that is going to become 100% non-negotiable for you so you too could perform at your peak levels every single day? That's the question that you need to answer. And then I'm going to make a couple of recommendations that I want you to do between now and the end of the year. Again, by the way, if you want a list of these recommendations and a PDF of this file, simply go to shadybazzi.info and download it over there. So Chadi recommendation number one. I'm gonna make a couple of recommendations. Okay, Chadi's recommendation number one is read one book a month. Just read one book a month. And I'll tell you what I think are the three books that I want you to read in the next 3 months. So one of them will be your July book, one is your August book, and one is your September book. July, August, September, yeah. So one for every single for every single month. And if you're already reading a book a month, congratulations, good for you. If you've read the book on this list, reach out to me. Ask me for more book recommendations. I personally, burn through a good one book a week, and I got a ton that I can recommend to you. But these are three that really come to mind that I believe, based on the time of the year that we are in and the time of the world, the things that are happening around us in the world, I believe these three books would be very good books for you to read based on right now. And book number one is Being the Solution by Daryl Rutherford. Being the Solution by Daryl Rutherford. Book number two is Think Like a Winner by Dr. Walter Staples. Again, Think Like a Winner by Dr. Walter Staples. And book number three is Maximum Achievement by the great Brian Tracy. Maximum Achievement by Brian Tracy. So that's recommendation number one. Recommendation number two is, when you're not sitting down and you're reading a physical book, by the way, that was a physical book reading that I want you to do. It's not something to listen to. It's something that I want you to physically pick up that book and read every single day. And then recommendation number two is to listen. As real estate agents, we drive around from appointment to appointment and, we spend a lot of time in our car. Turn your car into your, Brian Tracy says, university on wheels. Burn through audiobooks. A great application is Audible. I think everyone should be, have a subscription to Audible, and then I'm going to recommend, based on, again, the time of the year that we're in right now and what we're dealing with economically and globally and, market-wise, etc. 3 audiobooks that I would recommend right now would be, number one, The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. And I think right now, more than ever, is the time that you need to 2X, 3X, 4X, 5X, 10X everything right now. And remember, that book was written, that book, the inspiration to write that book came about when we encountered our last recession. And I'm not saying we're in a recession. I'm not saying we're going to go into a recession or anything like that, but all economic signs are pointing towards something shifting and taking place sooner than later. So why not prepare for that right now? So the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone is audiobook recommendation number one. Audiobook recommendation number two is Dreams Don't Have Deadlines. Dreams Don't Have Deadlines by Mark Victor Hansen. And number three is Success Mastery Academy by Brian Tracy. Success Mastery Academy by Brian Tracy. And I gotta tell you something about Success Mastery Academy. This is an older audio program. This is like a treasure. This is like a success treasure. Like you find a treasure and all the gold is in it, and then your whole entire life changes as a result of finding that treasure. This is the treasure of like all treasures. I was introduced to that audio program, I'd say the later part of 1999 or the earlier part of 2000, and I'm telling you, my life has never been the same ever again, and it's only been better and better and better year in and year out. And that audio program had a lot to do with it. So that's the first 2 recommendations. The third recommendation that I am going to talk about is accountability. The third recommendation is accountability. You need to create not just accountability, you need to create massive accountability. So, who's going to hold you accountable? I don't know who is going to hold you accountable, but whoever is going to hold you accountable cannot be a person that says, well, hey, it's okay, you just had a bad day today, you'll make it up tomorrow. And that's not the kind of accountability you need. That's not even the kind of friend that you need. The kind of person that you need is the person that says, hey, man, you freaking damn screwed up. You freaking damn lied. You said you're going to do shit and you didn't do nothing. Shame on you. You need to freaking do this. I want you to do this. How can I support you to do this? Because I'm not going to buy into your BS anymore. That's the kind of person you need. If you can't hold yourself accountable, you need someone to hold you to such degree of accountability that it is more painful for you to not do what you know you must do than actually doing it. So that's what we call the lesser of two evils in NLP. And the final recommendation is hire a mentor. Hire a mentor. Someone that's already done everything that you are trying to do. and then someone that's also trained other people on how to do what you want to do very successfully. And with that said, I'd love to apply for the job of being your mentor. I'm already mentoring you through this podcast, through this YouTube channel, through all my social media channels, and hopefully you're taking that mentorship and you're putting it to use in a way that it's positively impacting your life and your business. And if you want to take that to the next level, that I am going to invite you to simply go to tlastrategycall.com and book a session with me. And what we're doing beginning next month is we're doing something that's never been done in the real estate industry. And what we're doing is we're putting our money where our mouth is by simply saying, my coaching now comes with 100% money back guarantee. If I don't generate you brand new deals that you would have never done on your own, if I don't generate you brand new deals that you would have never done on your own within a specific amount of time, let's say we haven't really pinned down the exact amount of days, but let's say within 120 days, I will give you 100% of your money back, and we put that in writing. So if you want to take it, if you want to be one of the very few people to take advantage of this immediately, because as you can imagine, everybody's going to be wanting to jump on this opportunity because of the money back guarantee. I can only take on a certain amount of people. So if you are ready to dominate the rest of this year and be like some of the people I'm working with who are still on track to double, triple, even quadruple their business this year in spite of anything and everything that's happened. If you want to be one of those people, then simply go to tlastrategycall.com, book a session with me. We'll have a conversation. No obligation, no pressure, no sales pitch. We'll talk about where you're at in your business right now and what you need to do to thrive the remainder of the year. And then if you raise your hand and say, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about your money back guarantee coaching, then I'll tell you about it. And if you're not interested in that, it's all good. At least I get an opportunity to hear your voice, connect with you, contribute to your business, and we'll make it a win-win for every single person. So guys, this is pretty much it. So a couple of final thoughts or a couple of things I want you to do. Number one, go to chadibazzi.info and download the PDF file on this worksheet. Number two, I want you to, if you're ready to have a conversation about dominating your marketplace and becoming a top listing agent, simply go to tlastrategycall.com, book a session to speak to me. And the final thought is this: make every freaking minute count. TikTok, first 6 months flew by. I mean, this year doesn't even feel like a year. Nothing feels normal. Nothing feels the way it would have last year this time. And is there a new norm? Yeah, there's a new norm. There's a new way of being. There's a new way to adapt. There are certain things you got to change. There's certain things you got to do now that you've never done before. There's certain ways that you got to think about right now that you never thought about before. So all things are different, which simply means you need to think different and you need to do different in order for you to achieve different. Have a great day. Let's make the second half of the year your best 6 month ever, no matter what. And I'll see you on the next episode of the Top Listing Agent Show. Take care. Bye-bye.